Decided to take a trip out today. Chris is having a day off work and he's going to have to make up at some time over the weekend. And we've come to Northampton. We're going to 78 Derngate, which is the only house built by Rennie Mackintosh in the UK. And we're going to go and see the Mackintosh exhibition, which closes tomorrow, so this is our last chance to go. And since there's no sign of this one coming today, hopefully, we're going to go and check it out.
It has been absolutely miserable today. But we just got out the car in Northampton and it's glorious here. It's almost like summer, and this one thought she was going to leave her coat on. And I was like, no, it's too nice, put it in the car.
Is the sunshine? I haven't seen sunshine in days.
Anyway, we need to find out where we're supposed to be because we don't have much time to faff. Instead of working, Jen has dragged me here. Apparently it's some amazing house. I think only time will tell.
Yeah, watch your head.
So many years, too many tears on your pillow, on your pillow.
When we arrived at 78 Derngate today, I didn't really know what to expect. It's somewhere, obviously, that I haven't really been before, and all I knew was that Mackintosh had been employed to refurbish the property. But that was kind of about it. I didn't realise how small the house was. I would say, I don't know how wide it was. It's about this wide. It was really narrow. It's only one room wide, but it was 4 stories tall. Small little house in the middle of Northampton town centre, which in 1917 had sold for about £250. I don't actually know what that's worth in today's money. We went primarily this weekend to go and see the centenary exhibition that they had there. But I must admit, the exhibition itself didn't really appeal to me. Once we got there to see it, there just wasn't that much to it. It was quite a small exhibition, and I would say if you've missed it, I really wouldn't worry about it. What was absolutely fantastic was the house tour. For the admission price, you get to go into the exhibitions and you get to go into the house. And if you're there at the right time, you get to go on a house tour as well. I think they run about 4 a day. And our guide was amazing. He was one of those people that is so enthusiastic about his subject that he just kind of infects you with passion for it. And I couldn't speak more highly of him. He was really, really good. He took us on what was approximately a 60-minute tour, starting in the kitchen of the house and then kind of working our way up. We went into each space in the house, so I think there was the kitchen, the dining room, the main hall living room area, well, I suppose the parlour would probably be a better word to describe it, the master bedroom and the spare bedroom and the study. I think that might have been it. There's photos of the house from when it was renovated in 1917, and then they had like photos of the house now in present day. And I found it quite amazing at how many mod cons they had in 1917. In the kitchen they had 2 electric cookers, and they had what looked like a coffee maker. They even had an electric kettle. I didn't even realise they were a thing in 1917. One thing I think that shocked me more than anything was the fact that there was a first floor toilet, which at the time I was under the impression that most toilets were outside, let alone inside, and certainly not on an upper story. And they also had a fully fitted bathroom with plumbed sinks and a plumbed shower and bath, which again was just such a modern convenience in 1917 that people just didn't have these things. One of the things that was quite striking about the property was the difference in the furnishings between the guest-oriented bits of the house and the family-oriented bits of the house. Places like the parlour and the guest bedroom, they were so Mackintosh, you just wouldn't know that anybody else, you wouldn't even guess that anybody else had been involved ever. They were really starkly contrasted, they were very black and white. There was really strong geometric patterns, and you could see evidence of a general Mackintosh style all over them. But then in rooms that were designed more for the family, things like the dining room and obviously the kitchen where guests just wouldn't have been, they were completely different. Still an element of a Mackintosh design, but the dining room was almost kind of chintzy. It had delicate floral wallpapers that you just didn't expect to see in a Mackintosh house. And I thought that was pretty cool, that the family had obviously really cared about what other people thought about them. They were hiring this exotic architect who'd come down from Scotland and had never worked outside of Scotland before to come and make a big impact in their home. But they'd employed him to make a big impact where the guests could see it and not where they actually had to live with it on a daily basis. That I thought was pretty cool. One thing that's quite notable was that they changed, when Mackintosh had been involved, they changed the front elevation and the rear elevation. So the rear elevation now has a 4-storey extension on the back. And the extension itself is quite small. It's probably like a large box bay window. But the original plans for it and the architect's plans that were all drawn up and handed over to the builders was for a 2-storey extension. Yet the one that was built was actually 4 stories because the builders, it seemed, just carried on going. They just went all the way up to the roof. Front elevation's not quite the same. They had a new bay window put on the front, but it was a 1-storey extension. They had done major works to the inside. You could actually see when you're in the property and you kind of look at the floor, you can see where the walls used to be. But you can even see where the walls used to be pre-refurbishment, at least in the parlour anyway. So you could see where the front door was and where the hallway would have been, and then where the staircase would have been next to that, and then what would have been the tiniest little parlour. As it is, they took all 4 stories of staircase out as part of the refurbishment work. They rotated the staircase and made the parlour into one single room, like the parlour and the hallway. So it was all walk through and it was much, much bigger. Having to move that staircase would have been massive, massive amounts of work. You can then obviously see the effects that other inhabitants of the property have had over time. So there was a girls' school in there for a few years. There was other people that used it as a residential property. And you can kind of see their marks on the house as well, which is quite lovely. That even when they've gone way back to the 1917 aesthetic, there's still elements of these other users, which is pretty cool. If you are going there and you're intending to spend like an afternoon or so, they had a small gift shop to go with the rest of the house, and they also had what looked like a lovely little restaurant. We were there a little bit too late in the day to use the restaurant. They were kind of getting ready to close up as we were finishing. But it was absolutely drenched in sun on the back of the house. Like a really nice space. And if you're there, I would definitely recommend checking it out. The prices were quite reasonable. I think it cost us, it was £7.50 for an adult and £5 for a student. So we paid £12.50, and that gave us access to the exhibition, the full house just to wander around as we wanted, and it gave us access to the house tour as well, which I thought was a bit of a bargain for this sort of thing. As with all these projects, it's always ongoing. So although most of the house is complete, in fact today I would say the house was pretty much complete, but they're still on the lookout for new pieces. They're always looking for Mackintosh furniture and decorations that would have been present in the house at the time, but they haven't sourced yet. So I think it's one of these things that's going to be ever evolving. If you're in Northampton, I would definitely recommend checking it out, but I probably wouldn't travel too far to go and see it, unless you are a massive, massive Mackintosh fan. This is a bit of a departure from our normal daily vlogs, so if you kind of want to see what we get into on a more regular basis, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, go down and check out some of our other videos, and come back and see us tomorrow.
This town's